With the federal government eliminating grant funding to museums and libraries across the country, and the city of Oakland making cuts in the face of a massive budget deficit, a local museum is taking a major hit. ABC 7 News reporter Luz Pena went to the historic site of Peralta Hacienda Historical Park in Oakland and joins us live with the growing concerns. Luz.
Yes, Emma, these cuts from the federal government are coming just weeks after the Peralta Museum received multiple notices that the city of Oakland will also cut thousands of dollars in funding. This as Oakland needs to close a $120 million deficit. It's the land and house that takes you back in time to the 1820s, a glimpse into a family that changed the East Bay.
The Peraltas were a family that came on the Anza expedition in 1776 all the way from northern Mexico, what's now Sonora in Mexico, to populate and hold Alta California, as California was called then, for the Spanish Empire.
The Peraltas were granted 45,000 acres of East Bay land, including what is now Oakland, Berkeley, and parts of San Leandro. They brought with them animals and food that transformed this region.
They brought all kinds of cultivation that became the cash crops of our state.
Over 40,000 people visit this museum every year. The majority are students on field trips.
So this is Peralta Creek, and this is where we come and basically teach the kids how to foster the land. So then we'll teach them about the colonizers, and when we go from Antonio Peralta, speaking of the colonizers, that's where we'll transition into teaching them about the Native Americans, the Ohlone tribe.
Recently, this museum was hit by a letter from the federal government terminating their grant of $250,000, effective April 8th.
Still a shock. It was still a blow.
These cuts are part of the national termination of grants by DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. This cut compounded another loss. The city of Oakland cut funding to the museum just weeks earlier.
We lost funding for our cultural programs. We lost funding for our park stewardship. We're losing funding federally. Like a lot of organizations in the city, we're scrambling. We're trying to figure out how to fill that gap. And we're really relying on our community to come through and help us out.
A tough reality for a museum that won the prestigious National Medal for Museum and Library Service in 2017. Congresswoman Latifah Simon, along with other members of Congress, sent this letter to the Trump administration, demanding these funds to be restored here and at other places.
The only way that funding will be restored is if our voices are loud, if our litigation and legislation activities are swift, and that we don't back down.
And between the city and the federal government, the Peralta Hacienda Historical Park is set to lose over $270,000. The museum is working to get funding from private donors and add more field trips to stay afloat, all in hopes to continue providing cultural services to this community. In the newsroom, Luz Pena, ABC 7 News.